Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. This is very impromptu. My intentions were to hop in the shower and just relax. And then I saw the sun and I was like, you really should be doing your Mcgrath swatches. I just took off my makeup and I was like, I don't want to put it on. The sun's gonna go away. I'm gonna apply my makeup as we talk about the mini palettes. I have this one too. We're gonna talk about these two. I have the Mothership palettes nearby. I also have the known as Lila palette because I thought this very much reminded me of that color scheme. We're gonna compare swatches, talk about the shades and all that good stuff. And while we do that, I'm gonna maybe apply it. Maybe I'll just, well, I don't even know. We'll see how this goes. You want to find out my thoughts when I see swatches, maybe a demo of the new Mcgrath minis, and then keep on watching. I have all 4 Mothership palettes. One of them being here. I felt terrible when I bought these minis because, you know, fam, these Motherships run $125 a pop. And when I saw she was coming out the minis, I was like, you expect me to say no? Of course I'm gonna buy them. I only bought these 2 because the reviews for Platinum Bronze weren't that great. I was surprised. They had said that the shadows weren't as saturated. They were very patchy and not like her Mothership formula. I was stunned by it because I would think the minis would be formula consistent. I guess not. I used both of these suckers and I'm happy to report that I love them. I love the quality and the looks that I created with them. I especially love this color scheme, but we'll get into this soon. Let me know down below what you guys decided to buy. I'm just gonna quickly slap on some Perfecter. Buffing in some Hourglass. Not to fret, friends. All products will be listed down below. The first palette we'll swatch is the Vie En Rose. Net weight is 12 grams, 0.42 ounces. You get a total of 6 shades in the palette. It flips. It has a magnetic closure with an elastic bind. And when you open, you'll have the mirror on one side. So the mirror's here. Whoa. This is the card, and even with the minis, Mama Pat's still not gonna put the colors on the actual palette. We understand. The shade card is clear as opposed to it being black with gold writing in the Mothership palette. Pretty much each setup is 1 matte and 5, I wanna say, foil and shimmer. That they do feel different consistency wise, and you'll see in a minute when I swatch them. The minute I opened this sucker, I thought about Lila right away, and here it is. Because the Lila has the purple, the magenta, the hot pink. The matte though is very different. So here they are side by side. You see the matte shades from Lila are either very cool tone or very red, and the matte shade from Vie En Rose is in between. It's like a very deep lavender shade, which is beautiful. When I applied this, I was blown away. It was unlike anything I've owned, but you see that Lila has the purple, but the pad has the purple, you got the magenta. Although the magenta here is, I feel, pinkier than this magenta here. The magenta in Lila, I think it has a little more red in it. But I'll do comparison swatches in a minute. Let's just get to swatching this baby. Pale Fire. Really beautiful, like pink. It's like a rose gold, but very like super rose gold. Purple Rain, like rain, my rain, R-E-I-G-H-N. Hello, can you focus for me? Gold Nectar. This shade is gorgeous. I mean, look at the shine on that. It's insane. This has to be my favorite shade out of the bunch. Even though it's matte, I just love the undertone of this. Paranormal. It's like a very, it's plummy, but it's still has that grayish, I don't even know how to explain it. And you'll see when I apply this later on. Rose Risque. Very hot pink. Lastly, my second favorite shade, Euphoria. Simply gorgeous. Here are all the swatches from Vie En Rose. Vie En Rose. Let's see some of the Lila shades in case you have this palette. I'm going to swatch Amethyst, Magnetic, Magnolia, because I feel like those shades kind of mimic what's going on my arm. The shade closest to Pale Fire, I feel, from the Lila palette is Helio. Very different, but that's the only rose goldy shade I feel out of the Lila palette that might closely relate to Pale Fire. For Purple Rain, I'm going in with Amethyst from the Lila palette. Amethyst definitely looks more blue next to Purple Rain. I mean, Purple Rain is purple. Gold Nectar, I feel, will kind of go with Magnolia. Let's take a swatch. Magnolia is definitely warmer, and from the looks of it, this shade might better match this one from Pat's palette. But Gold Nectar, I mean, it's just that gold and an incredibly gorgeous shade. I think the matte shade from the Lila palette that is between these two, I feel, and looking on camera, I think Nude Vino will be the closest color match to, I believe, what is this called? Paranormal. Paranormal is, it's kind of hard to explain. I feel Paranormal is definitely more purple, and Nude Vino is a deeper wine shade, and Paranormal definitely looks more purple. Rose Risque going in with Magnetic, and I feel Viola could be an alternate shade, but Magnetic definitely is the hot pink shade out of the Lila bunch. Rose Risque from Pat is definitely more hot pink, like it's pink, where this just has a touch more magenta in it, I feel, in comparison to Rose Risque. The last shade, which I think, I said Paranormal is my favorite shade, but this last shade from Pat's palette, the Euphoria shade, is unlike anything I've ever tried. Just looking from the Lila layout, I think I'll swatch Livid, which is this shade here. I think might closely match Euphoria. Livid is a duochrome shade where Euphoria is just straight up like that lavender metallic. I love, because you see here the duochrome, the reflect with the sunlight hitting, and this is just that shade alone. All this to say, if you are a hardcore Pat McGrath fan, sure, get the Rose palette. But if you already have the Lila palette, I feel that these colors, that the Rose palette is like a very edited version of the Lila palette. This is $55, and this is, I believe, I'll put it up nearby somewhere. It's up to you. Let me know your thoughts if you have both. I love this. It just takes the thinking process out in terms of what to use, right? You're gonna get an editorial look out of this palette. That's the breakdown. With Lila, I feel you can create more day-friendly looks because of the wine and maroon shades that are mixed in with the hot magenta purple shades in that layout. You know, you just gotta do you, man. I love Pat's palette because I'm not afraid to wear hot pink and purple, and I can because I'm in fitness and they're not so anal about like what eyeshadow I'll wear to teach class. But if you're in corporate America, I think the Lila palette will be a lot more user-friendly for that purpose, for that environment. While you think about that, let me put on some concealer. I've been really loving the new Laure Mercier. Let me know down below if you got her. I got some eyeshadow on my face. Taking my HD Soft Light from Makeup Forever in 30. Pop a drop on the back of my hand, and then I'll use my beauty sponge to blend onto my cheekbones. Applying some Patrick's powder to set the concealer. This doesn't have any shades close to... Well, you got this shade. Hold on. I have a feeling this is going to be a very long video. Rose Risque and Euphoria from Rose. This is Night Creature from, I believe, Subliminal? No, Subversive. Night Creature, I feel, wasn't as... You really had to build it up, right? Because this was like the most purple out of her Mothership palettes. It definitely appears... Like, I feel this is her magenta shade out of her Mothership palettes, where Euphoria is like that lavender metallic, and then Rose Risque is just straight up hot pink. So that is the comparison swatch from, I believe, Subversive. Next up we have Bronze Ambition, and I apologize failing to mention that this packaging mimics the packaging of her larger Mothership. So this is the baby, this is the mommy. And here you have the matching packaging for Rose, and then yes indeed this is Subversive. I feel from Sublime, let me get Sublime. That Sublime actually houses the warmest matte shade out of all the Mothership palettes, which is this one here, the one I feel everyone gravitated towards because it was more user-friendly out of the three. The Decadence, because I opened it quickly, didn't have, this is the only purple-like shade it had, and it definitely takes on a more reddish hue, nowhere near as pinky purple as Vie En Rose. Packaging is the same, layout is the same. I love the size of this mirror. I think this is a great size mirror for traveling. Same plastic insert with the shade name on the card. And this is like the warmest matte shade I've ever seen her release. I love how this went on. I applied this a few days ago. Love the look I came out with. And I have to say, these metallic shades from her mini palettes are incredibly buttery. Like, because some of the foil shades from her Mothership palettes were a little drier. You had to build up the saturation to really have that gleam and shine come out on your lid. Again, this is Guilt Trip, but like Guilt Trip, for instance, is so nice and soft and buttery. Gorgeous color, and the shine on this is amazing. Like, I can't get over it. So soft, incredibly creamy. Bronze Struck is a little drier, but look at that color payoff. Gorgeous. Next we have Copperized. Oh, I think this might be the favorite out of them all because it's the warmest and I feel the most user-friendly. Platinum Bronze is cooler and taupier and the one that didn't get the best reviews, but this I feel is the favorite. This is Illicit. Although Illicit has some sparkle in there, I used this to deepen the warm matte shade and it blended out very well. I was actually surprised considering how much glitter it had in the formula, how well it blended. Throwing Shade, I'm sure you all dying to see this one. That is like a burnt, like roasty brown. It's just gorgeous. Gorgeous. Gold Rush. I know we got this Goldie, but this is more like a champagne. Gold Rush is like gold. Like, come on. Oh my god. Those are from the mini. Going into Sublime. Is it Sublime? Am I lying? I was not. I'm getting good at this. I'm going to quickly swatch, if I could find the card. This matte shade is just called Dark, but I feel closely related to I'll swatch it next to Throwing Shade. See, I feel these two are similar. This is still warmer than Illicit, but I feel these will pair well together if you wanted to really smoke it out and deepen up that warm shade instead of just wearing it as your transition one. Let's also compare this gold shade from Sublime right over the green next to Gold Rush, right to my crusty elbow. Oh, Gold Rush comes out more yellow gold. Gold Rush is a true gold, whereas even though it says pale gold, a lot warmer when swatched next to Gold Rush. I was wrong, wait, nope, that wasn't pale gold. Bronze. I mixed up the cards, I'm sorry. This is bronze, which makes sense. I'm such an idiot. But that will lead me now to open Subliminal. See how pale gold actually looks. Okay, this is pale gold 002 next to gold. I'm trying not to mess this up. I don't want to get the dark shade involved. Gold Rush still, I feel, takes on like the true gold hue. Pale gold definitely looks pale. Bronze, warmer. Okay, got it. I still wanted to swatch Copper Toned next to Copperized. And that's this shade right here. Right next to this sucker. It's a different shade altogether. Although Copperized, is that what, yes, Copperized looks a lot deeper and definitely more copper than Copper Tone. Duh. Copper Tone is still a nice color, but I mean, this really pops off like, whoa. If you're curious to see what the other matte shades look like, why not? I'm going to swatch Depth from Subliminal, which is the cooler out of all the Mothership palettes. That's Depth. And from Subversive, which is here, I'm gonna, oh, actually this might be the warmer shade. I think I made a mistake. I spoke too soon, friends. This is from Bronze Ambition, which I think is significantly still warmer than from Subversive. I feel the deep shade from Subversive still isn't as warm as the one from the mini, which again is called Throwing Shade. Throwing Shade, I feel, still reigns supreme as the warmest matte out of the bunch, even though this is the warmest out of all the Mothership mattes. I want to swatch it again because I feel like I didn't get a good one. There we go. Oh, and I mixed them. Great. Yeah, this is like definitely has a little more like orange red in there. It's a gorgeous shade, and I think that's a huge selling point as to why people will choose that that Bronze Ambition mini out of all the three. I hope I didn't miss anything. Ah, I'm looking at, hold on, wait. Lazarus, which is this shade here, I think kind of mimics, not really, maybe, Illicit from the mini from Bronze Ambition. I'm gonna swatch this again with Lazarus from Subversive. This is Lazarus from Subversive. This is Illicit from Bronze Ambition. Lazarus definitely warmer. All right, friends, I'm gonna quickly go off camera, apply the rest of my face, and then we'll get in on the demo. Face is done. Let's get a close-up of how Rose and Bronze Ambition applies. I'm gonna do one side Bronze Ambition, the other side Rose, because I'm not the take all put on back type of girl. Although I just did that, but for the eyes, it just gets a little too much. I'll first start with Rose, and I'm going to apply this, where did the card go? Paranormal, I think is what it is, right here. I finally got Wayne Goss number 16. I think I said that already in my latest Get Ready With Me. I just remembered that. Sorry for the repetition, guys. What I appreciate about having what matte shade is depending on the brush that you use, you could make it so it's diffused and then use a smaller brush to deepen it, which is what we're going to do. I'm first laying down just this shade as a transition one, running it under my lash line, making that point already, shaping it now, and then I'll go in with a smaller brush to further deepen the outer corners. Going in with my Wayne Goss number 6 to do just that. I'm just taking any fluffy brush to further smooth out the edges. I could use my 16, but my 16 already has the matte shade on there, and I'm just looking to smooth this out a little better. Now what I did, and I really loved, and I didn't think this was going to work, but I am applying Purple Rain as my deepening shade with my number 6. And although it's a metallic shade, I really liked how it applied when I blended it out. So it still is going to give us that deepening effect, but show up as purple. I'm sorry about that. I was like, you got to do far away, man. If you are applying these as a blending shade, because of the consistency, it's possible that it will fall out because that's just the nature of the formula. With my finger, I'm going to apply this shade here, which is just gorgeous, nestled between Purple Rain. I mean, look, like, what is that color? What is that color? It's beyond me. I'm putting it here, but I just remembered I also want to add Rose Risque, the hot pink shade. I'm going in with a pencil brush, applying this shade to my lower lash line. And I'm gonna smoke this sucker out. We got fallout, we got fallout. For me, if you're gonna do like a hot pink, purple something, you really have to commit. Like, I am blowing the heck out of my lower lash line, you know what I mean? I'm not really crazy with how this eye is turning out because I worked a little too quickly. Usually I'm a lot more careful, and because of that, I'm going in with some loose powder just to clean it up a bit. I know this isn't my best work, but I wanted to show how these shadows blended. And the look I did a couple of days ago, I received so many compliments on it. And this is really just to show how I apply these shades from the palette and what look you could turn up with. That's a little better. I feel better about that. It was getting a little out of hand. I'm not blaming the brushes. I'm not blaming the eyeshadow. I was just a little careless, just a touch. Used all, no, we didn't. That's a lie. That is a lie. Hold on. We still have to use the rose gold shade and the regular gold shade. I'm going to use my pencil brush again with the rose gold shade. Apply that just to where, like, on top of Rose Risque, to lighten it up a bit. And then with the same pencil brush, the gold shade to the inner corner. One side is done. Let's move on to Bronze Ambition. I know we're all dying to see how throwing shade applies. Can't wait. I'm taking my number 3 because my number 16 is all covered in, whatchamacallit, that maroon shade. This is a gorgeous color. I mean, it is super warm. On camera, it looks even warmer. It's insane. I love this color. It is so gorgeous. Blends like a dream. Very creamy. I was excited to show you. Unfortunately, I definitely have to clean off this brush because I want to use it and apply illicit. It's the shade that has the glitter in it. I use it to deepen up throwing shade, and it blends incredibly well. Do be careful because when you punch into the pan, you're gonna get excess shadow on the brush. Make sure to tap it off because it will end up on your face. See how nicely that blends, even though it has, there's glitter in here, but it just blends out and it doesn't feel patchy, or it doesn't apply patchy on my lid at all. Because you see just that matte shade, you're like, is that the only shade I have to create dimension? You're like, no man, you gotta kind of experiment and see what works. I think it's so pretty. Now, I always have a hard time because I love both shades, but I think I'm gonna go in with this one for the center. It's just, oh, it's gorgeous. I love this shade. But I'm gonna take Copperized, this shade right here, with a pencil brush, same pencil brush I used on the first side, but running it along my lower lash line. And maybe even a little bit here. I did this the other day. Just right over illicit into my crease. And you can wet these shades. I'm being very lazy right now because the sun is going and I want to finish this vid, but even without the shades being wet, the payoff is incredible. Last shade, I think I didn't use all the shades because I used this one to the center. I could technically take a little bit of, use the wrong finger. I'm going to take the other gold shade and punch it right to the center of my lower lash line just to give it some glitz. And then I'm taking the palest shade out of the bunch on my pinky very quickly to the inner corner. Look how bright that is. This is an incredible shade. You could probably, I very lightly use this as a highlighting shade just to give a little extra bling, and boy oh boy, did it give it extra bling. Alright, I'm going to quickly apply some mascara and we'll be right back. Eyes are done. I apologize, this one came out a total disaster, but I wanted to show you on camera how I use these two palettes and how I've been enjoying them. I feel these are definitely more user-friendly than her larger Mothership palettes, as well as more travel-friendly. I mean, the Mothership is pure lacquer, very heavy, beautifully designed, and the shadows these gems house are outstanding, but I will never travel with this because if this broke, cracked in any way, I will be devastated. The fact that these are just housed in cardboard, everything's included, the mirror, the shadows, and I feel this is pretty sturdy and well protected. The shadows are well protected because of this design. I feel, again, is just better to travel with than her Mothership design. I have to say, I think if you already have a lot of warm shades, and I know Pat McGrath's formula is outstanding, but if you already have a lot of warm shades, I would consider getting the Rose palette, because that's not how you, this a very shortened version of the title, which is La Vie En Rose. The colors are beautiful, they're pink, they're rich in terms of being really purple, really hot pink, and I love the matte shade on this is incredible. I can't even explain what shade it is because it's not completely purple, it's not completely maroon, it's somewhere in the middle, and it sets the other pinks and purples up beautifully well for the end look. And the gold shade it comes with, you have that neutral metallic shade to apply to your inner corner, to your lid, to your brow bone, what have you. And Bronze Ambition, I mean, this matte shade, you can still see it peek through under the shadows I applied. And the burnt orange, that like rust, that deep rust shade color for this eyeshadow is gorgeous. And compared to the other matte shades we saw earlier, it's definitely the warmest out of the bunch. I was so pleasantly surprised when I saw how well Illicit blended this one here as a deepening shade, because I didn't want to dip out. I wanted to just stay in the palette to see how it performed on its own, and I am so happy to say that it serves very well as a deepening shade. Do tap your brush off well, maybe just bake under the eyes to catch any fallout, because it's drier, it's a little drier than the other shades in this palette, but it still performs well. It did not blend patchy at all. It still looked smooth, really diffused and seamless. I love it. I love these palettes. The staying power on them is what I expect from Pat McGrath, as I experienced with her Mothership palettes. Definitely you're going to get 8 solid hours out of the shades. They're still going to look rich. They're not going to fade. You'll still see that saturated gleam and sparkle on the lids. It's not going to fade away to just crumble and specks of glitter or what have you. It's going to stay true to those colors, and let's just take a moment, shall we? I knew Pat McGrath was not going to fail me, and the color arrangement for these palettes I just love. I mean, the purple, this purple is, I mean, look at that shade. Look how it blended. It's just gorgeous. I can't get over it. And this, oh my god, I am a fan. I'm very happy about these. I know I feel like a loser because I have the Mothership palettes that I don't use often, simply because I'm just distracted by the other palettes that I have, and I rotate a whole lot. And that's the only reason why I don't use them more often, is because I'm rotating and trying different things. I have to say though, Bronze Ambition is definitely, I feel, the most user-friendly. I didn't get Platinum Bronze because, as I mentioned earlier in this video, it didn't get great reviews. It said, the reviews say that, because I swatched it in stores, I didn't try it on in stores, but I swatched them in stores, and the reviews said that they swatch beautifully, but they don't perform well on the lid. And I was like, oh no. And that matte shade, I swatched it next to like the other matte shade I thought it resembled well with, and they looked exactly the same. Although the names were different, they looked exactly the same. And it could have been the lighting. I wasn't in front of natural light, so I was just in the store's light. Maybe they were different, but it has to be the slightest undertone of difference, because I couldn't tell. And because of that, I didn't feel the need to buy it, because the matte shades from the Mothership palettes I thought resembled that one shade from Platinum Bronze. And the bronzy taupey shades in that palette were beautiful, but again, this is me, like either really warm or super colorful in terms of what I choose to wear on my eyes. I could dig a cool look for sure. Like, I played with some taupey cool shades and they look beautiful. They look really nice, rich and smoky. I tend still to gravitate towards like the purples and the rust and the oranges and the reds and the crazy colors, right? And I will do the greens and the blues, but taupes and like that color story I don't gravitate towards frequently. And that's why I only chose to buy these two. And of course, if you had a great experience with Platinum Bronze, if you're my complexion and you're like, Elisa, you're nuts, you really should go try it, I will look into it. But right now I'm very happy with these two. I think they make a great is a great addition to my Mothership collection. You can definitely mix and match and go nuts. Use this transition shade and deepen with the other matte shades from the other Mothership palettes and just go crazy, be super creative. I love it. And this is that I am not returning these. I love them. They're staying. I'm very thrilled. As always, please let me know down below if you picked up the minis, how they apply on you, what you love, what you don't love about them. Again, if you picked up Platinum Bronze, what you feel about that one. If Pat McGrath comes out with more eyeshadows, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. The bank account's gonna die. But it's okay. We're gonna get through this together and just talk about how we can't stop buying Pat McGrath eyeshadow. Thank you, friends, so much for watching. I hope this video helped. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And until then, I'll see you on here next time with another review tutorial. Get ready with me, swatch extravaganza, or chit chat. Thank you again, and I'll see you all soon.